Welcome back to Next Up Haunted Adventures. Reviewing Deranged Haunt up in Romulus, Michigan today. The normal price is $13, but I went on opening night, which was its first night ever. It opened this year for 2018, and it was $10 to get in for a haunted forest. And it's just the one attraction. Opening night can generally be rough, especially for a first-time haunted house. It was really nice to be able to go through a haunt for the first time ever. I was the first person to go through it. We got there at 8:15, and we were told we weren't allowed to park in the parking lot. They weren't going to open until 9 o'clock. So, which is kind of late for opening of a haunted house, but they may have had stuff going on. So we waited for 40 minutes in a parking lot of a fast food place and came back, and they were ready to park. But then they'd informed us tickets wouldn't be sold till 9:30. Well, they got tickets a little bit earlier than that, it was around 9:15 or 9:20. And then we'd wait another 5 or 10 minutes. They opened the haunt so I could go through it. That was already kind of against them. I was excited to be the first person to go through it, but the fact that I had to wait that long. And then it ended up being kind of a disappointment. Like, I really wanted to like it, because I know what goes into building a haunt now that I've worked one. I'm sure those people are very proud of it. It's a hard thing to accomplish. And opening night, maybe it was just not going their way that night. I know what it's like to try to gather volunteers and actors, but it kind of felt like it was thrown together very quickly, and it was very clearly was not finished. The haunt needed a lot of work to be added to it. There were a couple good actors, so that was nice. They had that going for them. The problem was they only had a few actors in the whole place, and then only a few of those were actually good. They didn't have anything that particularly stood out for a haunt. They didn't have really any animatronics. They had 2 drop walls in the whole place. There wasn't anything. There was no lighting. There was no music. There was very little of any of that. They didn't have really any special effects. The walls weren't finished. There were areas where if you looked closely enough, they had scratches in them, but there wasn't even any drywall. Just regular wall with empty rooms, and sometimes with cardboard boxes and trophies and power tools laying around, which I think is a safety and trip hazard. They weren't secured, and they were laying on the floor, and in my understanding, you need to make sure that stuff is secured, because then kids especially who are scared, could potentially injure themselves from that. The low budget for that haunt did show. There is a lot of potential with like a haunted forest or an outside attraction like that. It didn't show through for them. Maybe they made the effort, and it just didn't turn out the way they wanted to. But it didn't go very well, and just with everything that was lying around and the empty rooms not being finished, there was no real ambiance or lighting or music or any special effects, no animatronics of note. It felt thrown together quickly, and I can't recommend this haunt to anyone who is like a thrill seeker or an enthusiast, but maybe for a child, because it is quite cheap to go through. $13 really isn't bad. I would like to see them succeed in the future. I would like them to be able to come back either later in the season or next year and be a lot better and see where they've gone in a year. That would be nice, because I know this was a homegrown haunt. Started off with the guy just doing it in his, front yard and going to the backyard. Now he's here, and like, that's exciting. So maybe it scared the kids like I was with. There was a group of kids who didn't want to go alone, so they tagged along with me. It's more catered towards kids and scaring them than it is going to scare like teenagers or adults. I hope you found that helpful. Let me know in the comments below if you plan on going to this haunt. I would really like to know anyone else's opinions, see if they went another week, if it got better or not. Until next time, bye!